Hi everybody, Breanne from Pigment here, and today I got a little bit of a special treat. I'm going to be coloring a piece from our new special featured artist. Her name is Tanya Bond, and the title of this book is called Inklings. So I'm going to do a little run through of coloring a little bit different odd colored skin, how to color this little dragon over here. And I kind of picked out a palette that I've made from before. It's called Fall Colors. I have a little bit of a red background going here, going for a fall theme. So let's get started. So to start out, I'm going to put it on freehand mode, and I'm gonna do my background and work my way inward. It helps get colors in place for me a little bit evenly, and kind of my method of madness. So I'm on the green, and I'm going to try for a little bit of a different kind of background here. So I'm going to go just tap the green in the corner here. I'm going to tap this dark green down there. And then I'm going to pull it over to the bloom. And I'm going to go towards the middle, not worrying about her skin. And I'm just going to pull. I just want a little bit of that color coming out from around her. And then I'm going to do the same with the yellow, but I might bring the yellow vibrancy down there just a bit. Kind of like this dark orange. Just want to have that kind of coming out. I might switch it to airbrush mode for a second here, so I can get the orange where I want the orange, because the bloom kind of goes in circle, like in a circle shape, like when you pull outward, which is good most of the time, but for right now I kind of have some curves and whatnot I want to cover. And I'm just on airbrush. I'm actually going to use it to deepen up the green a little bit over here. I just cleaned my screen, so it's very, I find after I clean it, it has a lot of pull to it, which is actually, I like that. I'm just trying to mingle these colors the way that I want them for the background. I don't know, I just had a feeling for greens and oranges when I started this, so I'm just kind of going with it here. I'll probably do some more with the background. I just kind of like to get an idea of where I'm going to go with it. And then as I'm coloring my piece, if I get further ideas, then I can add to it, but at least I have my colors and my seams all close to the body, so I don't have to worry about coloring the whole background by hand. It's nice to fill it in the beginning, and it kind of cuts a lot of the legwork, so to speak. I'm just experimenting. I'm almost finished with it here. mix my colors until I like what I see. And see, now I'm going to blue. I'm just trying. No, I think I really did like the green better. The only thing is I would like the color pulling a bit more this way, I think. Yeah, I think that's a bit better. Thought I wanted it like a circle around her, but it just, I don't know, something about it didn't look right. Just picking this little bit of brighter green here. Just trying to get my colors. Keep on getting ideas, that's the problem. I get an idea and then I go, oh, well, this would be great. Once you start, my brain starts going. Okay. I think that's good enough for now. We've played with color long enough. Okay, so now I'm going to actually do her skin, and then whatever kind of I come up with her skin, I'm going to try and use some of the same colors in the dragon, but make him stand out at the same time. I like that little dragon, he's cute. Just going to zoom in to get to the skin here, see what I'm doing. I'm going to kind of do an unusual skin tone. Just going to go to a regular fill. But it's going to kind of be natural as well. It's going to be more unusual, I think, around the bumps and scales and wings and whatnot. Let's open the palettes here. Could actually worry about that too much right now because I'm going to start shading and put my opacity all the way up. Brush size somewhere around here. I'll probably be adjusting that as I go to how I need it. There's no really specific. I don't go by an exact number. I just kind of feel it out. And I'm going to start shading and kind of maneuvering the skin. I'm thinking that she's probably going to have that orange and green is still sticking in my head. She's probably going to have a little bit of an orange and green undertone. But I'm just going to start off by the shading. I'm using the airbrush because I love the way it kind of mixes and effortlessly blends colors. As long as you apply it gently and don't press too hard, that's all. I'm not worried about my mismatched colors everywhere. I'm used to it because I color a lot of grayscale, so my pictures usually look a little bit off balance until the very end, or close to the end anyway. But that doesn't bother me. And don't be afraid to zoom in and get close. It's going to help you see what you're doing close up, obviously, and kind of gives you a really good view of your shading and your blending, which is kind of important if you're a stickler on details, which I kind of am in certain instances, but other times I just like to have fun and mix things up and play around and shake things up. But right now I'm trying to do something cool, so to speak. I'm in freehand mode, and I might actually jump back to automatic for a little bit of the body shading, as I do not really want to go out of the lines too much here. And I'm gonna go and pluck a couple of these browns here. I really use this brown a lot. It's like almost like an auburn chestnut. I use it a lot for eyeshadow. I really like it for eyeshadow. It's not too harsh if you want natural looking. I use black a lot too for like eyeliner. I might still use black, but I find the contouring color that goes beyond the black is really nice. This brown, if you want a natural, subtle kind of makeup. See, I filled the eyes white and then I realized that I'm probably gonna have to redo that. I was just thinking all these little spaces, it's better to be on freehand. Lets you bypass all the lines. And now I probably am going to darken it up a bit. I'm going to go to the black. And I'm just going to rub it along the lash line ever so gently. I do want like a smoky eye on her. I want her to look cool. She's like a dragon lady, right? So I want her to be somewhat unique for sure. I'm just gonna go back and touch up some shading here. And I'm going to be bringing out my oranges pretty soon, I think. So I actually have an orange that I use for skin, and I use it quite a bit. It's almost like this peachy orange. I'm going to start off with that and see how far I want to take this orange color as I go. Right now her skin almost kind of looks olive browny kind of tone. And if you have trouble blending, color match around your areas. It really helps pick up that color and blend it naturally into the skin, because as you're mixing all these colors, it's going to be hard to just go back to that color and blend. It's better to do a little color match. Just a little trick I use. Not really a trick, just a way of coloring, I guess. And I'm just kind of adding a bit highlights as I go as well. Because I do it in layers, I kind of add color, take away a bit of color, add color, take away a bit of highlight, until I kind of get the look I'm going for. I never just do skin and fill and it's done. I'm just adding some highlight to the eyebrows, and I'm doing all of this with the airbrush tool. This is what I use for skin. 99% of the time I find it works the best for skin, but there's other things that you could use as well. It's just, I find it works very, very well for skin and blending. Especially when you're trying to get layers of color in like I'm doing right now. I'm going to use this flower basket yellow kind of orange. I'm going to be doing a couple of layers of colors for sure. And the whole point is to kind of get a unique skin tone, but one that still looks natural, because she does still look human. I mean, you could go totally drastic and do, I've done that too, where I've done like all blue skin and you shade in blues, and it turns out cool as well. But that's not what I'm going to go for in this piece today. I'm just going to go for a little bit of unusual skin tone. I'm just shading under the nose and the upper lip kind of crease that we all have. A little bit more under the jawline here. Shadows are important for making anything look realistic or anything have a realistic undertone. Like, for example, this is a fantasy picture, but I can still give it realism type features by adding shades in certain areas. And that's what I'm doing right now. Adding shades, adding highlights gives it that look. And then if you want to get a dramatic blush, you can apply it quite strong. I'm still not pressing hard, by the way, when I apply it a bit stronger. And then you can blend gently with the surrounding colors that you've added into your skin, and it will give a natural look. I'm going to shade a bit darker around this hairline here. And then I'm going to take a little bit of it away, excuse me, around the eye, just to feel like light is kind of hitting there, but not there. You know what I mean? Like when light hits your face at an odd angle where some of it's shadowed, but then the light might hit your cheekbone and lighten it up again. think a lot of coloring and realism is thinking about where your light is hitting. And I layer my shadows too. I don't usually go in with black right away. Black is something I'll go in with after I've kind of got my brownie undertone, and I keep it usually closest towards the edge of what I'm coloring, or right here, like the deepest part of this hairline is where I'm going to have my black. I actually really like the way your skin's going. It's not super orangey. I'm keeping the orange mostly around the scaly areas, but she does have an orange undertone for sure. And then if you go to your recently used colors as you're coloring the skin, you bring up this wide range of all your shades and colors that you're using, and it makes it easy to do little touch-ups or modifications if you need to. I like adding a strong highlight usually to my noses, so usually a creamy kind of color or white, and then sometimes I do it as well to the little point of the chin. I'm probably not going to do it too much on her. She doesn't really have a big chin. She has a very small chin, so I don't really want to go crazy and make it look unnatural. I'm going to shade a little bit around the outer crease of the lips, and then I'm going to blend the surrounding color just to kind of make it look a little bit more blended, obviously. And it really helps to just play with color and learn what colors go well together. I think that's the biggest trick with any coloring, really. It's just playing with color, developing your own style, and learning how to apply that color for maximum effect. Skin always takes me the longest to do because I'm very picky with skin. I color a lot of portraits, and skin was something that took me a while to grasp onto, and I'm sure a lot of people feel that skin is probably one of the harder elements of coloring. But once you get it, it's just so fun, and then you want to do fun colors, and like I try to do, and it's really a door opener. And then I could actually bring out a really bold orange, and I'm gonna just go around these scales a bit with it, pressing lightly. Just want to get a little bit of a bold type color around the scales. I do want that orange, but you could do it green, you could do it really any color that you want. There's no limit here. Me, I'm just gonna do it orange today. Orangey kind of yellow. I'm actually going to do something that I had an idea for because it just kind of reminds me of splatter, like these areas. So I'm going to use my splatter, but I'm going to bring my opacity down as low as I can. I'm going to go my brush size a little bit low. And then I'm going to grab, actually, I'm going to move on here. And actually, you know what? This sunset palette might work. But what I did have in mind, something a little bit stronger. I want it to almost look like it's coming out. You know what I mean? Like blending with their skin in like this way. Where it kind of flows to the rest of the skin. And I keep on picking out different colors, but I was actually working my way down the neon here. My old pal neon. And then I'm just gonna experiment here for a minute. Because I really want this effect of her shoulders to really stand out and pop. But not so that it doesn't look right. So I just want it to look kind of different. Let's zoom in on that and see how it's looking. And you could even deepen it up a bit just to get a little bit of a darker areas to it, probably more around these crease areas. Bring up your opacity a bit if you like. It's all in how you play with it. And move back down. Go back through the yellow a bit and just keep on blending. And speaking of blending, I'm going to kind of make it so it's like coming out of the skin a tad, but I don't want it to look unreal or flaky either. So I'm going to go back to my palettes here. Now I've got a whole whack of oranges sitting here. And I'm just going to lighten it up a little bit here. And blend it a little bit out. And I'm also going to darken it up a little bit in certain areas. But I really wanted that splatter effect. I'm just going to freehand because I haven't colored the dragon yet, and I just really want this dark orange in certain places. And then I'm also going to just kind of fill in my wing here. I'm using a bright yellow, but I'm not keeping it bright yellow. I'm gonna level it out a bit here. And go back to freehand mode. And in my crevice here, a little bit of shadowing. And then I'm going to go back to splatter mode. And I'm just going to kind of get that splatter. I'm going to increase the opacity a bit there. I'm just going to kind of get that splattering on this wing here. And these are, some of this is neon colors, like this bright reddy color I really love. It's almost like a neon orangey, I don't know what you would call it, neon orange type color anyways. And anyways, I really like it. Okay, so that is that. Back to airbrush, and I'm just going to lightly blend a little bit here. And then I'm going to go to the yellow again, and I'm going to get out the laser, bring down the brush size and the opacity. I'm just going to try something. I don't actually know if I'm going to like it or not. Just kind of trying to bring out this wing. It's such a cool piece, this piece. I really like it. Okay, so actually I do like that, so I'm going to leave it. And then now I'm going to color, I'm going to go to Pillow, and I'm going to grab this darker orange, and I'm going to fill these scales. So now she has some orangey scales on her back. And I'm also going to play with those a little bit. So I'm gonna lighten them up in areas. I'm really digging this book. It's really fun to color. I just love fantasy, and when something's different and stands out, it's always cool. So towards the base, I'm just gonna add a little bit of shadowing maybe, and see how it looks. Now I'm just playing with it till I get the look I want. I don't think I like it too much shadow, just a little bit darker at the base is nice. Not too much. Just a hint of shadow, I think I'll make for those anyway. For those horns. Okay. So I actually think this is looking pretty cool. I'm just going to do one more thing when it comes to the skin down here. Well, I say one more thing, but who knows with me. But for right now, I'm just going to do one more thing. I'm going to go to blur. And I just want to kind of blur, not the inner parts, but just the outer part of where the dragon kind of dots are that I got from the splatter. Okay. I'm going to try something. I just kind of had an idea, but if I don't like it, I'm going to change it. So this is just a spur of the moment idea I'm having here. I'm just going to try. I'm going to go to splatter. And I just kind of want to... You know what? It was a nice thought and everything, but I am going to keep it the way that it was. Gotta try things sometimes. You never know unless you try. It could have worked out, but I just feel like I like the face more clean. I mean, I could blend it and fade it in and spend time on it, but I just don't think it's worth it. I'm actually digging the cleaner look of the face and then having the body have more of the kind of cool detailing to it. And I'm still working on the skin. Skin takes me the longest. And I'm just gonna kind of shade these eyebrows. You know what? I'm actually just going to do them black. Keep the eyebrows somewhat simple. And I'm just kind of doing a highlight underneath. I'm going to get my blur. I'm just going to kind of blend it in with that I don't really want it so stark, shall we say. So I'm going to fix this thing. Kind of blurry out. And I was using the blur. Okay. Now I've been thinking about the colors for these eyes. And I think it's gonna stay pretty pretty neutral. I was gonna do like a bright orange eye because she's a dragon lady. I think I'm just gonna do a brown eye actually with maybe orange and yellow accents. I'm just coloring these eyes. I'm actually going to fix this while I'm at it. I'm just going to color this bottom eyelid in black. The whole thing. Kind of like black eyeliner. And then just kind of getting the corner of the eye. I was just going to do like a different, not that it's very big, you can't really see it too much, but I'm going to keep it looking like she has natural color there. Go back to my regular colors and grab this brown I was using, airbrush, and then I'm just going to work my brush size up a little bit, and I'm just going to shade around the outer edge of the eye. And then I'm going to grab an orange. And I'm just going to kind of put it around the pupil. I'm going to grab the yellow. And I'm just going to push it out a little bit over the orange. Just the kind of layering colors for her eye right now. I'm going to grab the black airbrush, and I'm just going to try something on freehand mode here. Just thinking of making her and I'm just shading her eyelid. And then I'm going to grab that yellow again. I'm going to grab my laser, opacity all the way up and the brush size all the way down. And then I'm just going to add some flecks of light in here. And then I'm going to grab this white, and I'm going to go to my airbrush tool and bring it down to about 1%. And then I'm just going to kind of a glare on the eye. Can't see it that much, but it is there. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to color the hair, and I think I'm going to do it an orange, like almost like a burnt orange. Just gonna make sure I'm on freehand mode, and then I'm gonna start filling in the hair. This is going to be my base color. I'll probably do a little bit of lighter highlighting on top. What beautiful pictures these are. You can increase your brush size as you go. You can also color this in marker, technical pen, really anything. You could go and fill all the pieces, or you could use advanced mode and add highlights to it after, which I might do. Might work with the advanced mode. We'll see. I am on freehand mode because it allows for me to fill in these little pieces of hair all at once. But like I said, there's many ways you can do it. I just find it easiest doing it this way. You can also do a very wide spread with the airbrush and just get all the middle zone covered, and then just tighten up your lines and your airbrush size so you can get towards the edges. I'm not worried about getting the jewelry or anything because I still have to color that. But I'm digging this orange since it kind of goes with the scales that she has. I think it kind of works. I was just going to do brown, but meh. I'm gonna do that wide spread. Gotta watch though, because sometimes you can get a little bit messy with it, but I use it a lot just to get a big area and then bring my brush size back down. Almost like a dragon princess, eh? I think that's actually might be what the actual picture is called. I'll have to double check that for you. But she's definitely a dragon princess. got the tiara. A little bit tedious when you have to fill it by hand, but I just find it easier. Like, there's so many little spots to tap. Well, you could just drag it across to you. You could go to fill. Make sure you're in regular fill. And then you could do this too. But I just find it easier doing this. For certain things that you color anyway. I do use that fill selection very often as well. Just depends. So I'm just continuing filling the hair. Her hair goes all the way down here. She's got long hair. I hope you guys have as much fun coloring these little inklings as I'm having right now. Just had this idea for like fally, earthy colors. It's just kind of what I felt like going with today. Okay, so I think that does it for the hair. Now I'm going to add a little bit of highlighting on this. And again, it's on freehand mode. And I'm using the yellow and I'm just kind of dragging it across the hair ever so slightly in areas. It's easy to do the highlighting because you can just drag it around. You don't have to fill each individual piece like you have to do with the base. Sometimes they add strands, but this hair is very parted and there's a lot of like little areas. So I won't be adding strands, I'll just be adding highlights. Very cool. I'm actually really liking the way this is turning out, which is a good thing. It's always frustrating when you have an idea and you can't make it come to life. So I'm using the laser now across those areas that I highlighted. About halfway down opacity and a little bit up on the brush size, but not too much. It just depends on how strong you want the effect. I just want it ever so slightly there. I'm just going and layering. This is what I call layering highlights. And it creates dimension and depth. But you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to separate this piece of hair down here because it's bothering me. I don't think it's all chunks. So I'm going to color match that green. And I'm going to do that. I think that looks better. Okay. So now I'm going to color. I'm going to finish her off and do the dragon locks. So I'm going to do this little tiara here, which is very cute. I look at a lot actually. I think I'm going to do it maybe. Let me see here. I gotta figure this out. Yeah, I'll do it like a brownie color to kind of match the dress. It's almost like a tan. And then I'm going to add, of course, some shading and detail to it. Looking very earthy. And then I'm going to grab this yellow. I'm kind of just sporadically using pigment colors for this. If so, I'm gonna make sure I'm on automatic here. For those of you who are noticing, oops, I'm picking the wrong. So I'm gonna erase. They're pressing too many buttons. But yeah, I'm just sporadically using random pigment palettes. And I actually, for all the palettes that I make, sometimes I just end up doing that. I mean, really all the colors you need are there. And I love how they're grouped and put together. It's so easy. Sometimes I make a palette and I think, oh, I got every color I want in there, and then I start coloring and realize, oh, I missed something. So I'm just using this yellow to kind of highlight the edges where I didn't shade as much, kind of add that depth that we were talking about again. See how it's darker in the middle? Now I'm going to kind of check it out with the laser. If I don't like it, I'll just leave it the way it is, because I actually kind of like the way it looks naturally. I'm just going to try. There we go, kind of like rusty tiara almost. And I just realized, oh, I forgot to do this side, but that's okay. I got my color selection here. And it's a small area. There, did the same thing to the other side effortlessly, mostly effortlessly. So now that we're done her, let's move on to this dragon. Now I've been hemming and hawing about him or her for a while, thinking, should I stick with the orange palette or what? And I'm kind of deciding to stick with the orange palette. And I just think it's going to flow really nicely together. So I'm just going to actually fill him in with a darker orange to start. I'm going to even fill in all these, or some of these scales anyway, around the eye. Everything is going to be dark to start. I'm going to hold up on filling all the spots because I'm going to probably want to put some lighter spots in there, so I don't need to go all haywire with it. So I'll keep it like that for the base. And then his little tummy tum, probably a little bit of a lighter orange. I'm using the pillow fill. I'm going to put it on Freehand. I'm going to go to airbrush. I'm just going to give his belly a little shine. And I'm also going to use this orange on freehand mode. Just trying to figure out what brush size I need here. I just play with it till I get it. And I'm just going to kind of add in this bright orange in places. Almost like Pet Dragon mimics owner, you know? But there's going to be more detail to this. See how he's not really popping and he's kind of blending into her? But that's going to change. Okay, now I want to go in here. We're going to grab that splatter again. And we're going to grab that. And raise the opacity. Just going to start rubbing it into... Oh, I'm still on freehand. I thought it was off. So I just want to make sure I didn't make any splatter marks anywhere I didn't want them. No, I'm on automatic. So good to go. I'm constantly going back and forth. And I'm just gonna kind of get it in places. And we can, the thing with splatter is it doesn't apply very cleanly, but that's okay. We don't want it to be too clean anyway. I just made a little faux pas there. And then I'm going to go to paintbrush. And I'm just going to kind of rub it into the edges of the horns. It's a nice yellow color. Cute little dragon. Just color matching, blending. I use the splatter to kind of give a little different kind of look to the dragon. Kind of matching her in a way, right? And then I'm just using the paintbrush because he's supposed to be kind of scaly, and I find that paintbrush does give nice texture. And why not use the paintbrush? It's one of my favorite tools. If you go over it like I am, that doesn't really give much texture, but it still adds a little bit of a different look. I'm going to go back to freehand for a second because I'm just going to shade in these wings a little bit. I'm going to switch it back to automatic mode again. And I'm going to pick up this color that I got here. Go to the yellow and get some yellow in it. And I'm going to kind of do what I did with the laser tool in a minute. Maybe. I'll go back to the splatter tool. I like the way the splatter adds that look to the wing. And then I'm going to go to my laser tool. And just kind of get those wings defined a little bit. Really want the wings to stand out. And then I'm going to go back to splatter and bring the opacity down. I'm just going to rub it in a little bit more around his nose and face here. Then I'm going to go to Freehand. I'm going to go to airbrush. It's a process doing all this blending and colors, and then you get ideas as you go along as well, right? I'm just going to kind of brighten up a couple of these areas here for highlighting. I'm just going to go over this area here because I added more splatter and I kind of went in my shadow. I don't really like it being dark around here. I think it actually should be bright. Maybe not that bright, maybe more like that with some dark shading. Just realized, of course, that I missed some hair over here. So I'll get that too. This girl has a lot of hair. So then I'll just run the orange across for the highlight. I'm just gonna not use the laser though, I'm just gonna leave it because it's kind of in a shadowy area. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of a shadow and just leave it. Actually, it's actually good I missed that because I should have a shadow around this area as well. And then I'm going to go back to splatter. I like the layers. I like when you get the layered look of splatter. I'm going to finish up with it though. I just keep on looking at it far away and thinking it could be a little bit more layered. I'm going to stop though because I went over this mouth line a couple times now. Okay, now this is where I was thinking maybe I'll do something different to make this dragon pop. I'm going to try it. If I don't like it, we can change it. So I'm going to go to, I'm going to just try the spiral fill. I actually like it. I think it looks really neat. I'm not going to do every whole. I'm just going to do most of them. Gave me the idea with the green is that I really liked the color that was left from when I was just randomly filling. So I thought maybe there should be some green to this dragon, and I feel like it needs another color to kind of stand out because she's orange, the dragon is orange. So there needs to be a little bit of variation, I think. I'm just going to darken it for under here. Okay, and then I'm going to go to airbrush, and I'm going to kind of lighten and make that like a limey type green, and just kind of get these, maybe I'll do a dark green. Just get some of these spots that are big that aren't quite closed. Go back to my paintbrush tool and just kind of fine tune some areas here. Paintbrush is more like streaky, and I kind of like that look for this dragon. I'm going to use my airbrush tool for a second to add highlight. Couple highlights. It's too perfect. I like the more imperfection look. Okay, and I think to finish it off, I'm going to do the eye, and I think I'm going to do the eye green as well. And I'm also going to add maybe, I think I'll just do the eye for now. I'm going to think about what I'm going to do. I might add some more detail somewhere. So I'm going to go to the pillow. I'm just going to fill. And I'm going to go to the airbrush. I'm gonna make some glowing green eyes for this guy. Shade up the top a little bit. Add some highlights throughout the center. Yeah, maybe do orange, dark orange in there. Then I'm going to take out laser perhaps. Bring the opacity down, the brush size up. Nope, make the brush size a little bit lower than that. I'm on the wrong color, it's my variable. There. The little dragon does still somewhat blend into her. I'm going to actually do something about that right now. Just going to shade around him so he kind of sticks out a bit more. Easy little tips to give depth to a character. There, now he's kind of standing out a little bit more because he's shadowed in a bit. And I'm also, never done thinking, going to the automatic mode here. I'm going to add a little bit of shine. So these horns stand out. And maybe to the scales of the eye too. Those scaly bits make the eye stand out. If you bring down the opacity and put your brush size up a little bit, you can also use laser as a nifty little highlighting tool. I use it quite often. Usually at the end of a piece though, not during. And then I'm also, this is what I was thinking about with these, maybe just giving a little bit of shine to some of the scales. The swirl fill, you can't really tell from far, but when you look up close, it actually looks pretty cool for the scales. Never really would have thought it was just a random kind of choice, and I actually really like it. I'm just kind of adding some last minute shine, if you will. Just a little dot, really. You still want to take away all the detail of the swirl film. Just a little dot of sparkle in some ways. And there we have a pretty cool picture, I think. I'm actually really impressed with the way this turned out. I'm just going to fix up the background a little bit though. I'm going to go to my airbrush tool. I'm going to bring up this blue. I'm going to darken it up a bit. Make sure I'm on automatic, which I am. Just want to deepen the sky a little bit. See, I get my colors in place, but then when I'm done my picture, I know if I want to change it or not. Maybe no, I don't want plasma. And on this side, maybe a little yellow. I'm just blending a little bit. And then maybe a couple little stars, maybe. You want to keep your dots small if you want them to look real. You don't want to overdo that. And then I think that's it. Well, wow, this was like so much fun to color. Thank you everybody for joining me today. This is Breanne from Pigment, and I really hope that you enjoyed this new surprise featured artist, Tanya Bond. Love to hear your comments on this video. And everybody have a great day. All right, take care everyone. Bye-bye.